Hey guys, okay, so are you ready for the tutorial on this cute little mini tag album journal? So I'm going to show you what all I used. First off, I found when I was cleaning the craft room, I found these book covers that I had found at, whoops, let me zoom out just a little bit. Oh, wrong way. Okay, there you can see better. I found these book covers that are by Seven Gypsies that I'd found Tuesday morning back in, looks like 17, but they may still have them. If they do not have them, you can still make this project. All you have to do is cut 2 pieces of chipboard that are 5.5 by 3.5. So no problem if you don't have these. And then what you can do is take your inks and ink it up and age it just like this is. This over here isn't that important because we're going to cover that anyway. But then you can take a stamp and just stamp the front and you basically have this, because you can do whatever you want to on it. You can't go wrong. So you can age it that way, or you can do it however you want. If you don't want to use, if you don't want to do it in a vintage style, do it in whatever style you want to do it in. But they're really cute little albums. So no worries if you don't have these book covers. So that's one thing. But I'm going to go ahead. Oh, and then what else will you need? You will need. This is the paper pad that I used, and as you can see, it's gone because I've already gone ahead and cut my papers. But I'm going to tell you how I did it. But this is the paper pad that I used. It's Lost and Found, and it's Blush by My Mind's Eye. I think they still sell these at Tuesday morning. You may be able to pick them up at Tuesday morning. I'm not positive, but I think you can. If not, use what you have. And you will need scissors. You will need some double-sided tape. You'll need wet glue. I'm a huge fan of wet glue. What else? Your inks to ink your edges if you choose. If you have pre-made embellishments that will go with the paper line that you're using, use them. That's how this got started. Was I found this box of embellishments, and I hadn't done anything else with it, so it's incomplete. So I'm trying to get these completed. Also, this isn't something that you have to use, but you'll probably see me use it. This is my Crocodile corner chomper, and I'm using the 1/8 inch because on the edges of this book right here, it appeared to be 1/8 of an inch, and it looks pretty good, as you can see here, because I've already gotten started on it. So that's another thing. If you don't have it, don't worry. Use whatever corner rounder that you have that will cut your chipboard. Also, one other thing that I use is I'll use Multi-Medium Matte by Ranger, and I'll explain why when we get further into it. So let's get started. First things first, if you don't have these little book covers, then go ahead and cut your own. By the way, the ladies who won my giveaways, and most of those, they had paper. So there was a couple that, I think maybe 3, that I had 6x6 kits that I had sort of made up. This is something that you can do with those kits that I sort of made up for you. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to take our cover. No, excuse me. We're going to back up a minute. We're going to take our paper, 6 sheets. This one had 2 of each sheet. So take 12 of this was 24 sheets in this paper pad. So take 12 6x6 pieces that you choose, and you need to cut them at 3 3/8 by 5 3/8, and you need 12 of them. So after you cut those, that's 3 3/8 by 5 3/8, and after you cut them, you're going to have a stack of papers left over. These are going to be your scraps, like this, and then like this. Save them. Don't throw them away. We're going to use the majority of them. Let me show you what I had left after I finished the first mini album, to where you can see what I'm saying. And there's a couple of pieces in here that, this is all that I had left. This piece wasn't part of the paper collection. That was just some of my scraps that I used. But this right here is all that I had left from the first mini album that I made. So here we go. So after you have your paper cut and everything, and feel free to pause it at any time that you need to. I've skipped ahead to where it would be easier. After you have your cardstock cut, then I need for you to get out your heavyweight cardstock in a solid color of your choosing. I'm using black, and I need for these to be, you need 11 of them, and they need to be 1 inches wide by 5 3/8 inches long. And then put it in your scoreboard. Whoop, let me get my scoreboard. You need 11 of these, okay? 1 inch by 5 3/8. Golly, did y'all hear my tummy rumble? And then I need for you to score it at 3/8 of an inch and 1/2 of an inch. Now I know that isn't going to be even. That's fine. This is how I did it. So 3/8 of an inch. Can you all see this? For those who don't know, you just count 1, 2, 3 on your scoreboard. So that's 3/8 of an inch. So go ahead and score it at 3/8 and then at 1/2. And I'm going to hold this up for you, so hopefully you can see. So at 3/8, which is right here, and then your 1/2. Okay. On all 11 of them, score them that way. Oops. Okay. And then you need to go ahead and fold on your score lines. So you're only going to have 1/4 of an inch gusset here. This isn't made to be a chunky. It's made to be, you know, relatively flat. However, mine did get a bit chunky. Even though I tried extremely hard for that not to happen, it still did a little bit. So, after you have this, and what I need for you to do is take and on the 1/2 inch side, so you have a 1/2 inch side, and then you're going to have a 3/8 inch side. On the 1/2 inch side, go ahead and put your double-sided tape. That's on the 1/2 inch side. And then on the 3/8 inch side, flip it over. Just flip it straight over like that. On the 3/8 inch side, I need for you to put your 1/4 of an inch double-sided tape. And I do suggest, golly, my tummy, wow. I do suggest that you use either the score tape or red line tape. It needs to be something, because this is the base of your book to where it will hold together. I mean, if you're really good, you can use wet glue. You're just going to have to wait a little bit longer for it to dry before you can move on. But so here we have, once again, we have our double-sided tape on the 1/2 inch side, and then you flip it over and you put your 1/4 of an inch tape on the opposite side, which is on the 3/8 inch side. Now that we have that done, what we're going to do, and I've already started here, is we're going to take, and I rounded, as you can see here, I rounded this and this. You do not have to do that. I didn't do it on the other one, as a matter of fact. But you're going to take and put on the 1/2 inch side, this side here, you're going to adhere it to your book cover. Let's pretend like this is our book cover. You're going to take and adhere it on your book cover like so. Then, after that's adhered, you're going to take your first page, and it's going to be placed right here on the other side. Don't go over your score line, but you can go right up next to it and adhere it. And that's going to be your first page, like here. You see? It's going to look like this once you get the page on there. And I'm going to go up really close to where you can see just how close I got to the gusset. Okay. The next thing you do is the exact same thing. You're going to have this 3/8 of an inch on the back side here. But then when you go to add your next page, you simply, with your 1/2 inch, the 1/2 inch side, you simply just put it right over top of the 3/8, like so. Press it down, and then add your next page. Let me grab another one here. Add another page. And don't rush through this. Really take your time to where you can get them even, and nothing wonky and out of line. So then there's that one. So now we're at this little flip. Let me show you, and that's where I stopped, to where I could show you how I did it. This piece here, how it flips. All I did was I went ahead and I used one of my strips and placed it down, and then to accommodate whatever little pieces that you have that you want to flip. I had 3, so I'm going to do 3 again. So here are, oh wait a minute, I only have 2. I'm going to have to make another one. That's okay. So whatever it is to accommodate. In this one, I had the bingo, which this is another, this was in my scrap pile, so that wasn't in the original paper pad. Matter of fact, none of these were. These were girls' papery, so use what you have. but to accommodate, can you see? Let's see. I'm going to get up really close. Can you see how I cut here and here, right here, and right here, and then see how it comes down here, and then right here. So it's front and back. And see how I have these cut? I just cut slits out. And there may be a possibility that I have to cut more. I'm not sure. But it was the width. Oh, my stomach. That is so embarrassing. It was the width of these little things. And the one in the middle is the one that I use as my front fold down. So when you're putting these on, I'll show you. You fold that down and then place this to where it's up at the top of the page, like so. And then we'll put the back on it. So let's go ahead and do that. So I just tear this off and then fold that back and place this at the top. Press it down really good so it looks like that. See, here's your front one, and this is what it looks like on the back. So then we're going to flip it over, and we're simply going to pop. Oh no, 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 no. We're not going to do that yet. Whoop, sorry, not yet. So then I'm going to go ahead and put this one on. And see, I know that I'm going to have to cut already because, oh, you know what I did? I did those backward. This one was supposed to go up here. Well, that's okay. No problem. So, see here, I'm going to have to cut this little piece right here off because I got them backward. This piece was supposed to go down here. No big deal. Not a problem at all. So I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to line this piece up with my bottom. I think I'm going to do that if I can't get this off. Hang on, people. That's going to bug me. Whoops. Oh, Lord. We have a collision. Here's a little tip. Oh, God. Good Lord. Oh. Okay. So, my heat gun, sorry about the noise. I'm trying to find my, here it is. Come on, be kind to me, people. Can you all see what I'm doing? Just a little tip. Okay. Well, I'll be dadgummit. See how easy that was? Okay. There you go, if you have a goof. See how it looks up here? I think I'll probably put some wet glue to it. So, I'm going to take this piece now and put it in the right place. Like so. See? And then, since I had to do that, I'm going to use some wet glue just to make sure. I would go ahead and put double-sided tape on there again, but I'm afraid that it would make it just too, I don't know, too bulky or something. This will work, no problem. No problem. Okay, so let's line this up then. The top. Trying to see if I'm even. I'm sorry, guys. My lighting and the fact that I'm getting old and probably need bifocals isn't helping. So, there we go. There's the top one, and there's the bottom one. And so we still have this one. See? And that's what the back looks like. Okay, so I need to make, because these two will go on the back side after we add our next page. And I thought that I had pulled out a piece of scraps, but apparently no, yeah, here we go. Here's some scraps. This is a note card. This is actually some stuff that was in a big humongous kit that Beth from Beth's scrapbook room had sent me one time. That would look kind of cute. That. What goes on this page? Let's refer back to here. Well, let's see. That or this. Should have gone live to where you guys could tell me. Or this. Oh, my stomach, how embarrassing. Let's just use this. So let's see. How big do I want to make this? How big's this one? So this center one is, should have given you all these, 2 1/4. That's with your black cardstock. That doesn't include, you know, what's in the middle, but the black cardstock that I've put each one of these on are 2 1/4 by 2 3/4. So for all three of these, that's what the black cardstock is. So, oh, what a collision down there. So I'm going to pull out some heavyweight black cardstock. How big is this? Oh, perfect. That's already 2 1/4. 2 1/4 by, what did I say? 2 3/4. 2 3/4. And of course you can make those any size you would like. So then I'm going to cut this down to, since it's 2 3/4, I'll cut it down to 2 5/8. let's do 2 5/8 by, it was 2 1/4 by 2 1/8. And I'm going to need 2 of those. So I'll have one in the front and one in the back. And then there'll just be just a teeny tad bit of border around it. So do I want to, yeah, let's do this. Let's do the 1/8 inch. So I'm just going to do the top, corner chomp the top, and then I'll do the same thing on this, like so. And let's ink our edges, and I'm using tea dye, Tim Holtz Distress tea dye. Yes, I know, I'm still using the square, these things. Don't have any of the round ones. That's okay. This works just fine. I also do this. That's off of a 2-liter bottle. It's either a 2-liter or a plastic drink bottle. And then I added makeup sponges. Glued it down in there, so I use that too sometimes. Because those little puppies are expensive. You can't have the foam things. Well, actually, I do have quite a few of the foam things, but I don't have the tool, this thing, for each one of them. I just change them out. I'll show you guys when I ever get around to my craft room tour and show you how I store my little things. Oh. There we go. There we go. There that is. Now it's ready to go on. Sorry, I thought that I'd already made it. So on this one, it isn't going to go the entire length, and that's okay. That's no problem at all. So we're just going to do the same thing and try to, I don't have much fingernails left where I've been working in my yard and painting. And okay, so we're just going to center this as best we can right on top. So it looks like this. And then that is what it's going to look like on the back. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to put, again, we're going to do it the exact same way. We're going to put the 1/2 inch on this side, and we will cut out these. And if you don't want this little flip, then don't do it. No big deal. Just put you another page in there. So on this, what I do is I line it up to where it's really square and straight at the top, and then run it all the way down. But I can't do it holding it up like that. And if my head gets in the way, I apologize. Let's see. Let's see if I can zoom in just a little bit to where you can see. Can you see? So if I put my finger down here, That helps me keep it square, but my head may get in the way, and I'm sorry if it does. There, maybe you can see that better. See, I keep it straight. Oop, got off a little bit there. Nope, I'm still off. This is really... I wouldn't struggle like this if I wasn't trying to record it, would I? Isn't that how it always goes? Is that straight? Yeah, there we go. Okay. So see, it looks like that. And then it's going to look like this, and this is where our next page is going to go, but we need to go in and cut these. So, let's get some sharp scissors. Cut there. And cut there. This come down like so. So see how I did that? Now I'm going to go in and trim these up and get them really flush. Oh, that one little piece right there is just driving me nuts. Come out of there. There we go. Okay, so here's what we have. There's our front piece. And this is what it's going to look like on the back. Hopefully you can see that with me coming up close. So that's what it looks like on the back then. So I'm going to zoom you on out a little bit. We can go to the next one. Okay. Move some of this stuff out of the way. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is to cover our backs. Cover our backs. Oh, looky there. I had written that down for you. It was 2 3/4 by 2 1/4 is what the is what not what this is, but what the black heavyweight cardstock is that I used. And I do suggest a heavyweight cardstock because make sure I don't get my writing upside down. Whoop. Because that's, you know, that's your binding. So there we go. I had already inked the edges on these. So there's that one. And then we're going to add this one. You know, I thought about doing this live. I hope that it isn't too long. The only thing with me doing it live is the fact that I can't work and answer questions and talk and all. I am just not that talented. I think the lives would be, I think they would be easier for me. Are you all seeing what I'm doing here? I think the lives would be much easier for me because I am so technically challenged, you guys. I can't grasp how to edit videos. And maybe the lives would be easier for me if I could. But I wouldn't be able to talk to you. I'd be able to say hi and all, but I don't think I could talk and then do the tutorial as well. So there's that. That's done. Now, all that we do is we add our next page, and I believe it was this one. Nope, wrong one. That's going to go on my front cover. Oh, I'll just go ahead and show you how I do that. You just simply pop it on right there. So let's just go ahead and do it. I don't know why I keep putting this up. I do like using wet glue rather than an ATG gun. I used to use my ATG gun to put mini albums together, and I still will use it on certain things inside a mini album, but for the construction of it and things that are going to be handled, I just find that wet glue, and sometimes I'll even use wet glue and double-sided tape, because in certain humidities it falls apart. And after you put this kind of work into something, you don't want it to fall apart, especially, I mean, if you've given it to someone as a gift or something. To me, it's embarrassing if the thing starts falling apart. And I'm sure that some things that I've made for people when I was using only my ATG gun, that they're coming apart. It's embarrassing. So that was a little lesson learned. So there we go. There's that front cover. We'll worry about doing something with it later. I think this is my next page, though. Not positive. Let me look up here. Yep, this is my next page. So I'm just going to pop it in there like I was showing you all earlier, except you're going to get to see me do it this time. I don't know why I peeled that tape all the way off. It's so much easier if you only do it part of the way. The reason I'm holding this up like this is because it was holding my my hinge part back here. It was holding it down like so, to where I could get it straight and could press down on it. Because this will move. Can you see that? It moves like that. And you just keep adding. And by the way, if you want I was going to say fatter, but I don't guess that's politically correct to say something like that. If you want a chunkier little journal, then you can add as many pages as you want. You just make more of your binding strips. And then you'll have to make a larger piece, of course, to cover your outside. But there's that. Now, what's the next one? Did I mess up again? No, I didn't mess up again. Nope. So I went ahead and put the rest of these together. That's how I was jumping ahead. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead. I don't suggest this because it's harder to put them together like this. I suggest you do it one page at a time. But to shorten the tutorial, I went ahead and did it. So I'm going to try to... This is going to take me just a second to make sure that everything lines up and is nice and straight. But you just go ahead and put it on here. And again, feel free to pause. At any point. Yeah. Can you all see? Like I said, I don't suggest doing this because it isn't that easy, but if I start my washi tape and only get part of it in and then hold it, where I want it, and then pull it off. Make sure before I press that down. Yeah. And if you're a tad off, it's okay. This one's pretty straight. But if you're just an teensy bit, is that a word? Off, don't stress out about it. And if you do stress out about it, use your heat gun to redo it. But the binding's going to be covered. See, can you see here? The binding will be covered with this. So we have that on there. Now let's pretend that we've sat together and put all these pages on here. This is my way of editing fast forward. So we're going to put our back on now. And I need one more. Right, is that what I'm doing? No, that's for my back cover. This is for my last page. Okay, here we go. Can y'all see? And you can do your binding like this as well. By putting it only partially on. See, I'm going to zoom you in. Come back here. Zoom in. There we go. And it's going to be kind of flimsy when you're doing this, but something that you can do that will help make your spine more stable as you go. See? That's what it'll... But something that will make your this a little bit more stable and easier for you to keep adding pages is if you go ahead and embellish it and decorate it as you go, because it will bring this end up and make it... Oops, sorry. Gosh, need to go out. Sorry about that, guys. It will bring this end up and straighter to where it isn't you know, you're not pushing down on it like that. So I would suggest that you know, go ahead and embellish it. But, you know, I'm not going to go through the entire embellishment of this book. I'm just trying to show you the basis of how to make it. So now what we're going to do is I have messed up. This was supposed to have been longer, and that was supposed to have gone. It's okay, I have one more. Okay, mess up number 2. No, that will work. I didn't mess up. That will work. Except on your last one, you need to put your tape rather than on this side. Put it on this side. And I wish that I had flipped that around to where this was on. Yeah, that's what I did. So on your last page, you flip it to where the 1/2 inch side will be attached to your back booklet, and then the 3/8 side is on your back page. But no big deal. No big deal. We'll make this work. I'm just burnishing my score tape now. So I take it off of the back side, and to ensure, this is where I told you that I'll sometimes use both the score tape and the wet glue. This is just a little extra insurance that it will stay, not go anywhere. Okay, so now we're just going to line it up the same as we did the other. Let's see if I can turn sideways here and show you guys. Right here. Okay, line it up. Have about the same distance at the top and the bottom. Come on, Robin. Same distance at the top and the bottom. And press it down. See. Yep. Let me go ahead and burnish this so it doesn't come off, and then I'll show you all up close. And you can just ignore that, because that one was supposed to, remember, it's supposed to be turned backwards. But as you can see, the top and the bottom, your covers are larger than your pages, but just a smidge. So there we are on that. And then the back cover, I put this on, and I rounded my corners. And I used, like I said, I used the 1/8 inch corner chomper, and we're going to ink our edges. And then I'll show you a couple of things on the inside of the book where I used matte medium. Gosh, if something happens to this recording after I have waited, because I was going to do this before Memorial Day, but then we went out of town and I had a whole bunch of stuff to try to get done before we left. And so this project has been sitting on my desk for a week, trying to get this video tutorial done. No, I am not afraid to use glue. These stripes in this paper pad sort of make my eyes go weird. That's why I put so much stuff in that pocket to try to tone these stripes down. They're just, oh, they're crazy. So there's your back. There that is. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do your binding cover. And again, it's so much easier if you embellish. If you go ahead and embellish your pages on the inside first before you do this. We won't have time to do every one of the embellishments because, well, most of these were already made anyway. So use what you have. Pause the video. Go ahead and do your decorating of your pages if you haven't already paused and been decorating the pages to start with already. But pause it now and go ahead and do that, and then come back and we'll do you can do your cover. So what I used was, I got a piece of this specialty paper. This came from says the Paper Studio, so it's, what is that, Hobby Lobby. It was $1.99. It's the brocade flocked black. So I got that. This piece measures, whoops, I did write these down, you guys, believe it or not. This piece measures 3 1/4 by 5 1/2. So it's 3 1/4 wide by 5 1/2 tall. And what I did on the back, because you can see, we'll see how it tore right here when I cut it. It's thicker and it is flimsy, and that's something that you need doing this. But you also need some extra protection because that's going to cover your binding on these two sides, on either side of your book. And so it's going to be used a lot. See how that does? See? And then as you're turning your pages, watch the binding cover. See how it's working? So that's going to get a lot of use, so you need to protect it. So what I did is on the back, you can see here where I tried to hurry things up and I bubbled my matte medium. But you take your matte medium, I think I have 2 coats on this, and I'll go ahead and do one more coat to where you can just kind of see. If you've never worked with matte medium before, you can kind of see. But it'll give it and yes, I use my fingers. This girl isn't afraid to get dirty. You just cover it. This will be the the third coat of the matte medium. I think that's excess. You don't have to have 3 coats. 2 coats would be fine. 1 coat may be fine too, but why risk it? So we just put that on, and then get out that heat gun again. You can let it sit and dry on its own if you don't have a heat gun, or you can speed things up. If it bubbles, don't worry about it. You're not going to see it. Okay, so it isn't completely dry. You can still see just a little bit right there, but it's okay. And this is from where I bubbled it when I was trying to get it dried to do the tutorial. So we'll put that up. So what we're going to do, since this right here doesn't get glued, you don't get any glue at all on that, because you want it to stay flexible. And like I said, if you want to add more pages to your book or less pages to your book, it's fine. Just keep adding the strips, and then you will have to make this piece larger to accommodate how many other pages you want to put in there. So what we're going to do, since we're not putting glue here, we're only going to put our tape and glue on the 2 long sides. And I'm using 3/8 inch square tape. But I'm also going to use glue. Found these little scissors at Tuesday morning, and I kind of like them, but they're stiff. See how they stick? They're a little stiff. Burnish it really, really, really good. You know what? I believe that I'm going to try to hold you here so I don't bump you. Actually, I'm going to have to move you out just a tad. Hold on, everybody, hold on. Whoops. Should have had this out. My Glossy Accents is in a drawer right below you. Okay, hold on, cover your eyes, because I'm going to bring you back up. Okay, there. So I'm going to use Glossy Accents rather than this Scotch Quick Dry, or, well, they call it tacky glue now, or the 3-in-1, or even Fabri-Tac. This stuff's like cement, so I think that's what I used before anyway. When in doubt, use Glossy Accents. No, this is not brought to you by Ranger products. It's just my personal opinion. Aw, seriously? Try this again. Come on now. Oh my gosh. It's ridiculous. It's redonkulous. Whoops. Oh my gosh. How is that possible? Can they not come up with something? And then you squirt out. Really? Seriously. I know about putting the pen down in the top of the thing, but mine rusted. Ruined an entire bottle. So, okay, so here we go. Start on your front side. Actually, this right here is what I did. If I can do it. Is I centered it the best I could. And I did this with this already embellished. I may be just a tad off because that looks just a little bit crooked. Maybe it won't look crooked once. Oh yeah, that's crooked. But the front isn't. How the heck? Like I said, do as I say, not as I do. Embellish your book first. But that's how you put it on. And trust me, it's so much easier because what I did was once my book was embellished, I took and held it like this and did the same method and then flattened it down and burnished it real good with my hands. And it's straight. So, this one's off a little bit. That's okay. We'll embellish it somehow. Yeah. And you can see up here, that's going to drive me nuts. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that off. To where maybe... Those things don't cut as well either. What boo-boo number is that? Yeah, I'll add some trim down through here of some kind to straighten that up, and you won't be able to see it. So, there all that is. I was going to show you another reason why I use this matte medium. On the inside of, oh my God. People, you know what I didn't do? There's my last page. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And that's why I have one left over. Oh. This was my last page. So you know where I goofed and only had the 3/8 of an inch thing here? That's because this page was supposed to have gone in that. And then you flip it, and when you do, you flip that around, and then there is your 1/2 inch. I messed up. So this one isn't going to have this page. Dagnabbit, that's my favorite. That was my favorite thing out of the entire book. Look here. Isn't that pretty? See, it's supposed to be like that. So this is this page. Here, let me pull this out so you can see. This is this page right here. And then that's where this one is supposed to come into play, which would have made your 12th page or 10th page. Yeah. And then you flip it, and then that's where you had been doing your 1/2 inch on this side, you flip it and put your 3/8 inch on this side and put it down on your back here. So I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to do more tutorials to where I can get with it again. Oh, so sorry. Okay, well, we'll figure something out. So back to what I was doing. On this page right here, where I have this little dress form, you can see how this isn't glued down. See how that isn't glued down? And then you have I put a little clock on there, and I actually used the crackle accents on it and let it dry overnight. And it looks kind of cute, but I wish I had backed it in black or brown or pink or something. I wish I had done that, but I didn't. But it feels like plastic, and it's more durable, and that's because I did the same thing on this. I put 2 coats of matte medium on the front and on the back. Now the little legs down here, they are glued down. They are glued down at the bottom along with part of her body, but I stopped it right there. You see? I stopped it. But this is going to have a lot of use, even the little top up there. So if this is more durable, it will last longer. And with all the, slipping of the tags and stuff back in, it's going to last longer. Okay, so on these scraps over here, I told you to save all of your scraps. Here's why. Let's do, let's see, I didn't do scraps there. Well, I did, but let's do this pocket right here. Can you see? We're going to do this pocket, which is the back. I'll call that page 2. So we're going to go here. Here's our page 2. And I've used, looks like this piece. These are our scraps. These are our leftovers from that 6x6. So all you do is you cut it 5 3/8 inches long. And even save these scraps when we go to cut this. Right, 5 3/8. See, I'm even guessing myself now. I messed up so bad that just kills me. 2 3, yeah, 5 3/8. Even save that because you can use them. So we do that, and then I'm going to use I'm using just a little 1-inch punch, circle punch, to make a finger pull, which is like right here. That's your little finger pull. And a lot of you know what those are, but if you're new, you don't. So I'm just going to eyeball it as close to the center as I can, and not quite put it in halfway. Can you see that? And then punch, and there it is. And then we'll ink our edges. Inked edges. And then we are going to glue this. And I'm going to use the quick dry. You can use double-sided tape if you want, but I think this glue is going to bond better and stay longer. So I found this little fine line thing that goes on my glue thing. I know a lot of you already have these and have forever. I didn't get mine until about a month ago, and I found it on Amazon, and I like it. I think that there's one that fits on the glossy accents too, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, stop talking, Robin, and get this straight. Don't mess up again. You know, that's really embarrassing to get on here and do a tutorial and then mess up that bad. Holy cow. Like stage fright. But it is what it is. I goofed. Okay, so there we go. I'm not going to tug on it a whole lot until that dries really good. So there's one way to use your scraps, make your pockets. And then, let's see what else I did here. Okay, if you'll see, if you can see, if you'll see, that isn't correct either, I don't think. See how I used part of the scraps? I just used pieces. Oops, sorry. I just used pieces of them here and rounded the corners and just put another little pretty. And then I used some of the scraps and covered the binding part. This was actually just a scrap piece. You remember how I told you if you have a few scraps laying around that go with the paper pad that you're using, go ahead and pull them out. That's one of them that I used there. I didn't use a whole lot of them, but I think it was just one. It was just one extra 6x6 piece from a different collection. So I'll show you how to do this little pocket right here as well, and then the rest of it, you know, I think it's pretty simple. That's just an embellishment that I had already made, but you guys know how to do pockets. But I will show you for the new ones how I did this little pocket here, as well as this pocket that I'm not going to be able to do this time because I don't have that page. Okay, so let me measurement on that. Which one is that? It's this one. And these are, okay, so your scrap pieces, they are already at 2 5/8. Yeah, 2 5/8 wide. Your entire stack of extras, or 2 5/8 high. So then you need to cut it down to 2 and another 2 5/8. So 2 5/8 by 2 5/8. No. And let me show you something. If you don't know where 5/8 is, I know some don't. No big deal. Can you see where the paper is? It's the long mark after your 1/2 inch. And if you still struggle, I don't know why I'm telling you guys this. If you still struggle, just start counting. When someone says 2 3/8, 2 5/8, or whatever, or 3, you just count each mark, not the small ones down at the bottom, not the teeny tiny ones, because those are 16ths, but your larger ones. So 1 2 3, that would be 3/8. 4 5, there's your 5/8, and then 7/8 is the mark before your next full 1 inch. Just so you know, that may help. So we have, oops, have I done that backward again? You guys, this is the world's worst. No, right there's my piece. Yeah. So I'm going to use my corner chomper. This was 2 and, what did I say it was? 2 5/8 by 2 5/8. Okay, so I just rounded the corner in this corner and this corner, and then I'm going to ink my edges. And then I'm also going to flip it over and ink this side, because we're going to be able to see part of this pretty side. That's another thing. Oh, I forgot to even say that in the beginning. You need double-sided papers. So then this is just going to fold back. But I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and put it in before I do that on this one. Now, if you're going to use a brad, which I may go ahead and just use a brad since I don't get to do this, I'll just go ahead and use a brad for you. And then I'll put my, yeah, we'll do that. So I fold it back this way. Can you see that? There's no certain width. I mean, you can do it to whatever looks good to you. Just try to keep this part straight. And then after you do that, you need to either punch a hole or pierce a hole. Oh, I don't want to have to get my big bite out. Oh, there we go. See? And let's get a brad. I have these little brads that look like little buttons. They came from close to my heart. I'm sure that I've got them on clearance at some point. And then let's put, this is just a little thing of metals that I have. Let's do a butterfly. What do you think? Yeah. Let's do a butterfly. So there's that. And then that's set. Then to cover this and protect it so that it doesn't get snagged on your tags, I just use this is just regular black cardstock that's flimsy. So punch this is a, what is it, a 1-inch punch. We're going to cover this. No, you don't have to do this. This is just something I do just because it bugs me. And to help it last longer. And homemade crafts, you know, I mean, eventually they'll fall apart. But I like to do everything that I can do now that I've had so much trial and error with things. I like to do everything I can do to make sure that it's going to stay together. So there we go. And then we're going to flip it over this way and put it in our little journal. And now I'm just lining it up with the corners down here and let it go on up. So the only places that we're going to glue are this side and this side. So let's go ahead and do that. So the two long sides, you don't put any glue here, and I don't put any glue right here or right here. See? Okay. So just lining it up with the bottom and the side. And there we go. There's your little pocket. Now let's see, I think that's everything else is you know, pretty much self-explanatory. You do whatever kind of little tuck spots and embellishments that you want to do. Yeah, I mean, this right here, this is just, all that is was some of the leftover pink cardstock that, whoops, this right here, sorry, was some of the leftover pink cardstock that I had laying on my desk from the Mother's Day card that I was doing. And so I just cut it down in a little rectangle and just glued there and there to make a little pocket. And then added, you know, pretties on top of it. This here, that's just another little rectangular piece that I put on there, and then added some trim to make another little pocket. You can do, I mean, you can do whatever you want to do. Just let your mind go. That's just another one of those that I showed you how I did. This right here was just another little piece of scrap that I had left over, the little pink. I popped the embellishment that I'd already pre-made on there, and voila. On this one right here, all in the world I did, I will show you that. All I did was took, where is that piece? I think that's it. Nope. That one? There it is. I'm going to show you here. So, what I did was, you see that side? I took a half, did I take a half inch? I took an inch binding strip and did it directly in half, scored it in half, and then measured the width of this piece of paper, which was the opposite side of this. See how you cut it down for your page? This is 2 and 5/8 inches wide. I took the binder, the hinge piece, put it on the back of here, and then came down and scored it to where it would flip up and make this little tuck spot. Hope that makes sense. And then just added just a little piece of scrap like that. Like that. I just added it right there on the front. So that's all I did for that little flip up. That's all in the world I did. And then just added another pocket there. Whoops, I just lost my tags. So that's all I did on that one. I did, for this collection, I did also use the ink Tattered Rose on some of the pages, or some of the tags, and some of the pages, like you can see on that. Just a little bit of Tattered Rose on it. But I think that's it, guys. Yeah, there's nothing else that's special on this piece right here. I just backed it on heavyweight cardstock and only glued down the bottom and the side over here to where you could still tuck things back down in there. But yeah, that's it. I'm sorry for a couple of the flub ups and all, but you know, we learned through them, right? Oh, where's my little thing? So there's my my quick little tutorial for you, to where you can make two of these out of one 6x6 paper pad that has 24 sheets in them. They need to be double-sided, and then you'll need just some heavyweight cardstock and just another piece of scrap of some kind. So thanks for watching, you guys. Thanks for hanging in there. I hope that you make some of these, and if you do, please let me know. Gosh, that would absolutely thrill me. I'm going to try my best to do more tutorials. You'll just have to bear with me because I don't know how to edit, and who knows, maybe I'll do the live thing. I think you're supposed to have over 1,000 people in order to be able to do that, and I do. So yeah, maybe we'll go live sometime and you guys can hang out with me. The only thing is I can't talk to you. But anyway, enjoy. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.